What is up, guys? Camron here, and today I am doing a tier list of Villainous because my opinions change so much, and I have Villainous tier list here. I took a link off of my Villainous group that I'm in Facebook, and I kind of just left it there. So, yeah, I have 5 tiers here. And see, you already kind of seen what the green one was. But, yeah, we're just going to get started. So, Captain Hook. I have been getting really used to Captain Hook lately. I'm going to be putting him in pretty dang good. Captain Hook has the classic goal of having to kill somebody. In which that somebody is Peter Pan, but like all the other villains that have a defeat, he has a process to it. Not my favorite process to get to it, because honestly, it really just counts for going for your Fate deck. But of course, Disney Villainous is RNG, or pretty much any Villainous that is RNG, which just means random number generator, or just straight up random. But when you win as Captain Hook, because Captain Hook can pretty much get to a point where the only thing that can stop him is the fact that his goal is fairly slow sometimes. Because he could get to the point where he has so many allies on his board that there's no way to stop him from defeating Peter Pan. So next, I'm going to put Shadow Man. I'm going to put Shadow Man in not exactly enjoyable. And here's the reason why. It's just because he's too easy. I have been playing him more, and I have been winning, but he still feels like, because I've been getting to like him a little bit more. He's moved up on my list, but he still feels like he's still a little too easy for my liking, but you know how it is. So, I'm just going to do it. I didn't want to show you guys this tier till the end of the video, but I found it. Ursula has her own tier. I hate Ursula. Let's just say that now. I hate Ursula. Ursula is awful. I know most of the people I play online with, they love Ursula. They don't love Ursula, but they'll play as Ursula. A lot of them say they don't really care much for Ursula, but they'll play Ursula. This one chick I play with online. She's down in Texas. She loves Ursula, and I'm like, how the fudge do you manage to love Ursula? And she's all like, I'll teach you how to really play Ursula, and then you're gonna wish that you were good as Ursula. Absolutely destroyed me. Ursula is definitely one of those characters that you're going to need practice with. Oh, I'm getting stuff out of the fridge, and I just realized that's right. But I've played Ursula, and I've been playing Ursula a lot lately, and literally every time I play her, I just like her less and less. I don't understand what it is with Ursula. I think it's the whole binding contract thing. Ariel can get really annoying. It's just and she can constantly fate, which is good, but sometimes it doesn't work for her. Next character who's on this list, oh. This list seems to be Cruella de Vil. So Cruella de Vil, I'm actually going to put in middle. She kind of moved down a little bit for me. And I think that's because she's just really slow in her fate deck. You get her sometimes. At the same time, you know what? Yeah. But she's definitely top middle. Well, here's the thing, actually. I wouldn't say that I like Captain Hook. I actually think I like her more than Captain Hook. So that's a little conflicting here. So I'm going to put Captain Hook in middle. But the thing is, he's not really a middle character. But Cruella de Vil, in my opinion, I like more than him, so she'd have to be in pretty dang good. But I don't want all these people to be in pretty dang good, and I want to try to fill up all these tiers as fast as possible. This next character surely isn't going to fill up a new tier, because Gaston is going straight to not exactly enjoyable. Gaston is pretty much my second least favorite. I don't like Gaston. I never liked Gaston in this game, and I will never like Gaston in this game. Seriously, the last Disney Villainous set, not Marvel Villainous, because the latest set was Marvel, the last Disney Villainous set with Gaston, I was actually kind of excited to see Gaston, because I was surprised they didn't put him in a set yet. And almost every villain that's on the front of a box, I really enjoy. Gaston literally has to be the only character that's on the front of a box that I cannot find myself to enjoy playing. It's just, he's so lazy. His goal is to remove 8 obstacle tokens, and there's 2 at each location, and he does that by playing the exact same effects the whole game, and then they can also get replaced as seconds. They could have done so much. Like, what I wanted a Ratigan type thing, where he had 2 goals. He either had to do a whole bunch of things, like the Queen of Hearts, kind of, her take-a-shot ability, pretty much, and try to marry Belle. And if that fails, he flips. It was like, he has to... Maurice starts as a cardboard token at Gaston's Tavern, I think it's called. Yeah, he starts at the tavern, and you have to move him to Maurice's house, or Belle's house. Play Monsieur Dark, defeat Maurice. When Maurice is defeated, you flip him over to Belle, and then you could finally basically blackmail Belle into defeating you. But she'll have like 3 power on her, and one power gets removed every turn. So when all 3 powers on her, you have successfully completed your goal. But if someone plays Show Me the Beast or the Magic Mirror, then Gaston will have to flip over his gold token, and he will now proceed to have to defeat the Beast. But the Beast is going to be like the strongest hero in the game. Well, not really, because it only took Gaston, but basically, that's why I wanted for Gaston, but no. They gave him the most basic goal, aside from Prince John. And that just really disappointed me, what they did with Gaston. So yeah, next character I have up here is Evil Queen. Evil Queen, she's going straight up here. She's going actually above Cruella de Vil. Evil Queen is really fun. I've been getting into Evil Queen a lot more lately. She, the whole having to play poisons thing, ingredients for the poison and having the poison heroes to defeat them, it's just so fun. And sometimes having more and more heroes on the board would probably make the game drag on longer, and it would kind of probably make it frustrating. I don't really get frustrated as the Evil Queen, which is weird, because Villainous is like one of those games that will ruin friendships. Yeah, Evil Queen is literally always a fun time, and I'll honestly play her anytime. She's not one of my favorites, but as you see, she's at the top of pretty dang good currently, and she might even stay there. I don't know. Next character I have here is Hades. Hades is going to go into favorites. I've given my praise to Hades before. My favorite thing about Hades isn't actually the way he is played. My favorite thing about Hades is the art of his cards. The card art on him. It's my favorite card art in Disney Villainous and Marvel Villainous as a whole. Like, pretty much all the Marvel characters, with the exception of, most of the Marvel characters are above Disney characters, but Disney Villainous would probably overtake Marvel Villainous in card art. I'm never going to do a card art ranking. It is too challenging. I can tell you who would be on the bottom, though. But anyways, I'm not going to, because I don't know. Next, but yeah, Hades has to get 3 times the Mount Olympus. He is what everybody says is the hardest villain in the game, probably because his fate deck is so brutal. Once you get those 3 Titans out, the game would probably drag on a little bit. But when you do win as Hades, it's just so unbelievably satisfying. And I don't know why, but just having to play certain cards and just fighting. It's a game of tug of war, the whole game. Just fighting. Actually, I'm going to move Hades down to the top of pretty dang good. Because there's certain people who believe in favorites. Horned King, I think we're finally going to get someone in the middle. Horned King up here. So, Horned King was somebody I did not expect to be as difficult as he was. That was for sure. Because the thing is, Horned King's Fate deck isn't really that bad. But when you get the right cards, Horned King could possibly do the equivalent of just restarting the game. Because I know, like, yeah, because you have to gain the Black Cauldron, you have to flip over to Black Cauldron to power the Black Cauldron. That's when you can finally start replacing your Cauldron-born. I mean, your Ancient Soldiers with Cauldron-born. But there's a card that flips the Cauldron over back to the Black Cauldron side, and when the Black Cauldron sign is face up, you'll have to start discarding Cauldron-born at the beginning of every turn, and that's just not for me, man, not for me. Because I don't like doing the equivalent of starting over again. That's kind of why he's middle. Horned King can frustrate me a lot. My one friend, he even fates me constantly when I play as the Horned King because he knows that Horned King makes me angry. And I don't know why it's just a playing as him, but every time he's on, I was like, oh yeah. It's like, I don't know who to play. And he's like, Horned King. And I'm like, no. But he doesn't do that no more. Used to. I think the joke kind of got old after a while. At least in his mind. I still find it funny, because, you know, I'm me. Okay, so a lot of people in the pretty dang good section. 1 in the middle, 2 in the not exactly enjoyable, and Ursula's in the Ursula. Okay. Next character I have here. I'm probably going to hate doing this, but I'm putting another in pretty dang good. I'm putting Jafar above Cruella, actually. Jafar is indeed pretty dang good. Actually, I'm going to move Captain Hook here down to the top of middle, because now that I'm thinking about it, comparing him to all these other characters that are pretty dang good, he's not exactly up to the oomph and enjoyality, if that's a real word, of these characters that are in pretty dang good. So yeah, Jafar, probably with one of the goals that has some of the most steps, because first he has to play the Skira Pendant to unlock the Cave of Wonders, play the Magic Lamp, hypnotize the genie, then move the lamp all the way to the palace. It's like a 4 or 5 step process. There's constantly ways that he could do this, and it's so fun, because Necessary Sacrifice, I used to not play because I was like, no, I don't want to get rid of any of these guys. I was actually not liking Jafar because I was playing Jafar wrong for the longest time. I kept thinking you had to use allies to defeat heroes before you hypnotize them, and I'm like, that's going to take so long. No, hypnotize literally says defeat a hero, so therefore hypnotize defeats the hero, so you don't need to use allies, and it was awful. But now that I've learned that I don't have to do that, and that it's kind of embarrassing that I've been playing it wrong like that since I got Villainous like a couple months after like 2 weeks after the orange set came out. Kind of weird that I was playing them wrong the whole time, but you know. Lady Tremaine, she's going down here. Now the reason why is because I think Lady Tremaine is probably one of, if not the most inconsistent character in the whole entire freaking game. Because her whole goal involves certain cards that she needs. And I'm not talking like just 2 certain cards or just 1 certain card. I'm talking like freaking 6 certain cards that she needs to play to win. Possibly 7 if you want to, or 8 if you want to count the Cain and Lucifer, because those are like must-haves on your board. But still, like And she's another character like Ursula that every time I play her, I end up liking her less and less. That's why I kind of been avoiding Lady Tremaine, because she's still up here, but I have a feeling that the more and more I play her, she's going to start going down a little bit. Not too far, but she's going to start going down a little bit. Okay, next character I have here is Maleficent. She's going under Dr. Facilier and above Gaston in the not exactly enjoyable section, because Maleficent, I was playing a game online with Maleficent not too long ago, and I remember I hit my win condition 4 times before the Fate deck decided to finally let me have a break, because I had 2 Forest of Thorns on my board, because Maleficent's goal is to have 4 curses, each at a different location, in start of turn. Well, I had 2 Forest of Thorns on my board, and 2 Green Fires. So, my friend, he played Aurora, the princess, to a location with Forest of Thorns, because Forest of Thorns, you get rid of those, is if a hero with a strength of 4 or more is played to a location with Forest of Thorns gets discarded. So that got discarded, and her Aurora's ability is, when you play her, you draw a card off the top of the Fate deck, and if it's a hero, you play it. Well, he drew King Stefan, which has 4 strength, and then he can move Maleficent to any location. So he discarded my other Forest of Thorns and moved Maleficent to a location with Green Fire, and when Maleficent moves to a location with Green Fire, that curse is discarded. So it was pretty bad. He got rid of 3 curses in 1 turn. I believe I did have to reshuffle my deck on that game. Okay, next. Okay, first one I can safely put in a favorite. If people who haven't watched this channel that are watching this video, go to my channel and subscribe. You don't know what you're missing out on. Actually, you're not missing out on much. But still, seriously, I talk about it in most of my Villainous videos, how good Mother Gothel is. Mother Gothel is freaking amazing. By far the character that evolves the most strategy of any character. And she'll play the same effects over and over again, but she's not like Gaston where there's no strategy to it, because she could just straight up combo this. Gaston, weak combos. He has the most basic goal of the whole entire thing. Maybe even as basic as Prince John's. Which Prince John's actually one of the next ones up here. My opinion of him has changed too. Not that much, actually. But anyways, she's just so fun. If you want my full opinion on her, I am going to start reviewing the villains in depth and individually, their cards and everything, eventually here, because I'm running out of content. Once I actually get filming stuff, I'll start filming video games mainly, but that's going to be a long, long time from now. Okay, next I have Pete, and Pete is one I could safely say that I'm putting in pretty dang good. The bottom of pretty dang good, but he's pretty freaking dang good. Pete is awesome. No denying Pete. Just the thing with his goals, he's he's kind of a beginner villain, in my opinion. He's not for beginners. No, beginners need to play people like Queen of Hearts and Prince John. Most preferably Prince John, probably. But Pete is if you're finally getting ready with the done with the training wheels characters when you first start, and you want to start off with someone who's just kind of casual or can still teach you a lot, play Pete, because Pete's goals can teach you everything. It teaches you how to move allies and items. It teaches you how to stack your allies. It teaches you how to defeat heroes. It teaches you how to use effect cards to the utmost strategy, because Pete just has a random assortment of goals, and it shows you to always read your cards when you're at the location so you can see what you can actually do. Because believe it or not, I've missed some of those item abilities before, like an idiot. Goodbye. But yeah, Pete is extremely fun, and I will play as Pete anytime, honestly. Next is Prince John. Prince John is going to go in not exactly enjoyable, but he's going to go in a Shadow Man. Now, here's the thing. When I said that my opinion of Prince John has changed a little bit, I never said it was in a good way. Oh my god. I'm getting like tons of YouTube notifications. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm actually liking Shadow Man more than Prince John. It's just because I've been playing Prince John more lately, and he's just boring. It's like I had fun with him for like a couple decent games, and then he just went back to being boring. And I was so happy that this character was more fun than he seemed to be at first, and I'm like, nope, never mind. He still a bit boring. Well, actually, pretty boring. Next we have Ratigan. Here's the thing. I'm gonna put Ratigan at the top of the middle section. Ratigan, he's not exactly my favorite. But he's also very enjoyable. It's just that he's kind of like Shadow Man in a sense, where the games can go by very quickly. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of quick villainous games, unless time is literally of the essence, and I have time for a quick game and a quick game only, in which Ratigan will most likely be my go-to character. He's by the way, I'm also ranking these guys. So the order that you see him in now, from bottom, so basically it goes from bottom and up, right to left. That's my ranking. Ratigan, you just stack everything, pretty much all your items, and I think Ratigan is legitimately the only character in the game that can manage to win by playing items and only items. He doesn't need to play allies, he doesn't need to play conditions, and he doesn't need to play effects to win. But if you only need to play items to win, then you're probably playing with a really crap opponent who doesn't know how to play the game. But still, that was mean. But still, like, I love that thing about Ratigan, how he's literally the only character that can win on just playing items. But he could still feel too easy, like in a Dr. Facilier sense, but he has a lot more to do than Dr. Facilier does. Okay, next character I have is the Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts is going in not exactly enjoyable, but she is going again above Gaston. I've played Queen of Hearts more. She's moved up one placement, because Shadow Man used to be my least favorite last time I did a ranking, I'm pretty sure. This isn't exactly a ranking, this is a tier list. Well, it's a tier list ranking, but you get it. Not really. I'm making no sense. I'm sorry. It's just that she's another thing where she's not exactly like, she never feels too easy, but the thing is, her fate deck can do almost nothing to her unless you get the right cards at the right times. And still, she has so many card guards in her deck that she could just still win. The thing is, sometimes it'll even be an out of nowhere death. When you're not death, I was watching a horror movie earlier, and there was an out of nowhere death. But the out of nowhere win. Queen of Hearts is definitely one of those characters that teaches you that you have to study the opponent's board. But still, not exactly enjoyable. Not my cup of tea. Better than Gaston, better than Ursula. Okay. Next we have Scar. And Scar is going to be up in the favorites. He's a very close second to Yzma. My opinions of these two characters actually switch a lot, and now I'm actually going to move Hades up because I have no clue. Just merge Hades and Scar together, because I can never ever choose between the two. They're so good. I was hesitant about putting Scar in pretty dang good, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna end this with just one person in the favorite section, even though that's probably what a lot of people would do. So yeah, Hades goes up there too. But most of the time, Scar ends up coming out on top, so I'm just going to put Scar there. Has to defeat here is pretty simple. there's there's a couple things that I'm mainly good at Villainous. That's building up allies, killing heroes, and keeping power, which is something I'm very good at. Those are the three things that I'm good at. And that causes me to win at score a lot. Definitely one of the more slow goals in the game, but Okay, next character. Well, actually, the final character is Yzma. And Yzma. Where would I put Yzma? I think I'm gonna put her right here in the middle of the middle section because she is literally at that halfway point. Go watch Lord of the Board. He said it straight. She is at that halfway point because, like he said, she is literally like the wild card of Villainous. You never know what you're going to get with her because she's the only one who splits up her fate decks. She splits them up into 4 piles of 4. She even has one more fate deck to literally one more fate card to literally every other character in all the sets. I know that like the villain exclusive decks in Marvel Villainous are like the decks that have symbols on them. There's 11 of those cards for each villain, and then the common fate deck is 15. Yzma freaking has 16 fate cards in hers. And she splits them up in 4 piles of 4, but you have a very, like, it's a 1 in 4 chance of finding Kuzco right off the bat. And then it's like a 1 out of 3 chance of finding him. And then it's just 50-50 of finding him if you haven't found him already. Usually I find Kuzco on the second or third search through the fate decks. Very lucky if I find him on the first search. Very unlucky if I find him on the fourth, because that usually implies that I'm not going to win. Unless I already have Kronk and the dagger in my hand. And I usually try to avoid using Royal Guards with Kronk to defeat Kuzco, because I know you could do that. And I don't think I've actually done it yet, because I like to be thematic to having Kronk with the dagger kill Kuzco, because that dagger's literally meant for that. It's meant to be thematic, because if you remember at the end of the movie, Yzma handed Kronk the dagger and told him to kill Kuzco. And that even makes it better when Kuzco's at the palace. So yeah, that's my tier list. The ranking stands, and this is most likely going to change. Actually, I feel pretty confident in this ranking. I think this is definitely going to be my ranking for a while. So from least favorite to favorite, it goes Ursula, Gaston, Queen of Hearts, Maleficent, Prince John, Dr. Facilier, Lady Tremaine, Horned King, Yzma, Captain Hook, Ratigan, Pete, Cruella de Vil, Jafar, Evil Queen, Hades, Scar, and Mother Gothel is still my favorite. Remember, Scar and Hades, I love to switch those two. Same with Jafar and Cruella de Vil. Pete sometimes ends up above them, but not often at all, actually. Ratigan is kind of at the halfway point. It's kind of like Pluto exiting and entering the solar system. He's always right. He's not even in middle or pretty dang good. He's pretty dang middle is what he is. No, he's like middle good. He's literally on the line. But anyways, I will see you all in the next video. Peace.